Imagine walking into a grocery store where a teenage boy carries your bags to the car, cigarettes sit right beside the candy, and the cash register has no scanner because barcodes don't even exist yet. The average American grocery store in the 1950s looked familiar, but behind those aisles were some truly bizarre practices that would seem unbelievable today. From radioactive produce displays to frozen foods people were actually afraid to buy, these are 10 weird facts about 1950s grocery stores you probably never knew. Hashtag 10. Grocery stores smelled completely different. One thing people who lived through the 1950s often remember wasn't what they saw, it was what they smelled. Walk through the front door and you'd immediately notice the scent of freshly ground coffee. Many stores ground coffee beans right in front of customers using large electric grinders. Nearby, barrels of pickles sat uncovered. Wooden crates overflowed with onions, potatoes, and oranges. Fresh bread arrived daily from local bakeries, and butchers cut meat right behind glass windows. Because refrigeration wasn't nearly as advanced as it is today, every department had its own unique smell. The produce section smelled earthy. The butcher shop carried the unmistakable scent of fresh meat and sawdust, and the bakery filled the air with warm bread. Unlike today's heavily air-conditioned supermarkets, every visit was a full sensory experience. Hashtag 9. There were no barcodes. Everything was priced by hand. Today, a cashier scans an item in less than a second. In the 1950s, every single product had to be individually priced by hand. Employees spent hours using handheld pricing guns or stickers, carefully placing a price tag on every can, every bottle, every box, and every package. At checkout, cashiers memorized hundreds of prices or manually typed each amount into mechanical cash registers. If an item didn't have a price tag, someone literally had to run back through the store to find another identical product and check its price. The barcode wouldn't become standard until the mid-1970s. Shopping was slower, but cashiers became astonishingly fast at mental math. Hashtag 8. Cigarettes were sold like everyday snacks. One of the strangest sights in a 1950s grocery store would shock modern shoppers. Right beside the chewing gum and candy bars were cigarettes. Entire checkout displays promoted popular cigarette brands with colorful advertising. Some grocery stores even featured signs claiming doctors preferred certain cigarette brands, a marketing strategy that's almost impossible to imagine today. Children often stood beside their parents while cigarettes were purchased as casually as bread or milk. Smoking wasn't hidden away. It was considered a completely ordinary part of everyday shopping. Hashtag 7. Frozen foods were still considered suspicious. Today, frozen meals fill entire aisles. But in the early 1950s, many Americans simply didn't trust frozen food. People believed frozen vegetables were less healthy. Others thought frozen meat tasted fake. Some worried freezing somehow destroyed nutrients entirely. Stores often held live cooking demonstrations to convince shoppers that frozen peas or frozen dinners actually tasted good. Companies even handed out free samples because customers refused to believe frozen food could compete with fresh ingredients. Ironically, modern research has shown many frozen fruits and vegetables retain just as many nutrients as fresh ones. Back then, however, frozen food felt like science fiction. Hashtag 6. Shopping carts were still a new idea. Believe it or not everyone welcomed shopping carts. Many shoppers, especially older customers, thought pushing a cart made them look weak. Some women claimed carts were awkward and difficult to steer. Others simply preferred carrying handheld baskets like they always had. To encourage people to use them, grocery stores sometimes hired attractive models to casually push shopping carts around the aisles. The idea was simple. If stylish shoppers used carts, everyone else eventually would too. It worked. Within a few years, shopping carts became one of the most important inventions in retail history. Hashtag 5. Butchers knew every customer by name. Long before shrink-wrapped meat-filled refrigerated shelves, buying meat was a personal experience. Customers approached the butcher's counter and requested exactly what they wanted. Need thicker pork chops? No problem. Want extra fat trimmed from your roast? The butcher handled it immediately. Many families visited the same neighborhood grocery store every week, allowing butchers to remember names, favorite cuts, and even special holiday orders. Children often received a free slice of bologna while parents chatted with employees. Shopping wasn't anonymous. It felt like visiting neighbors. #4. Housewives received recipe advice while shopping. The grocery store doubled as a cooking classroom. Many stores employed women specifically to demonstrate recipes using products sold in the aisles. Standing behind small counters with electric skillets or portable ovens, they prepared casseroles, cakes, soups, and desserts throughout the day. Customers sampled the food and received printed recipe cards to take home. Food companies realized that if shoppers tasted a product first, they were far more likely to buy it. These demonstrations became incredibly popular and helped introduce many classic American recipes that defined the decade. #3. Children wandered the store alone. Modern parents rarely let young children roam a supermarket by themselves. During the 1950s, it wasn't unusual at all. Kids were often sent to collect bread, cereal, or canned goods, while parents shopped elsewhere in the store. Neighborhood grocery stores felt familiar and safe. Employees watched over regular customers, and many children knew store workers by name. Some stores even kept small toys or penny candy near the checkout to reward well-behaved youngsters. It reflected a very different era, one where communities were smaller and trust between neighbors was much stronger than it is today. #2. Grocery stores became symbols of America's post-war boom. The 1950s weren't just about groceries. They represented abundance. Following World War II, supermarkets exploded in size. Shelves overflowed with products many families had never seen before. Instant pudding, cake mixes, frozen orange juice, colorful breakfast cereals. Television advertising encouraged Americans to buy brand-name products rather than generic goods. Bright fluorescent lighting, polished floors, and endless aisles gave shoppers a feeling of prosperity. For many Americans, simply walking through a fully stocked grocery store became proof that the country had entered a new era of economic optimism. #1. You didn't bag your own groceries. Here's something nearly every 1950s shopper took for granted. Someone else packed your groceries. Dedicated grocery baggers carefully arranged every purchase into sturdy brown paper bags. Heavy cans went on the bottom. Bread stayed safely on top. Eggs received special treatment. Then came perhaps the most unbelievable part. Many stores employed carry-out boys who pushed your groceries to the parking lot and loaded everything into your car, for free. For elderly customers, this service made shopping much easier. For teenagers, it became one of the most common first jobs in America. Today, many shoppers scan their own items, bag their own groceries, and carry everything themselves. Back then, customer service was part of every single grocery trip. Outro, 11 o'clock, end. It's amazing how something as ordinary as buying groceries has changed so dramatically. From handwritten price tags and neighborhood butchers to cigarette displays and carry-out boys, the 1950s grocery store wasn't just a place to shop. It was the center of everyday American life. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoy uncovering forgotten pieces of American history, be sure to subscribe to American Time Capsule for more fascinating stories from the past. Until next time, thanks for traveling back in time with us.